Level 1, bullied schoolboy. You're 14, 5 foot nothing. You're rolling into the school lot on a rusted $300 Honda hand-me-down. The color of a healing bruise, you've become proud of lives in your knees and elbows, and that's why you already call yourself a rider. Every lot has a kid who runs the place. Here it's Marcus Rich Dad, brand new bike, bought in cash. He watches you putter in and grins. You just made his morning. He strolls over and kicks your bike onto the curb. The clutch lever snaps clean off. He picks the broken piece up and hands it back to you like a tip. Nice tractor, he says. That the price tag or the training wheels? The whole lot laughs. Somebody films it. You put the broken lever in your pocket. Don't ask yourself why. That night, behind the Kmart off Highway 18 in San Bernardino, California, you thread a line through the gravel 3 older kids won't touch. And a man in an oil-stained jacket watches from a parked truck. Not your throttle, the thing underneath it. In 30 years, that same Marcus is the one man alive who can beat you. And the exact second you finally beat him, a corner kills you and they paint your name on a wall that same afternoon. Level 2, first-time rider. The man in the truck was named Rooster, and the card he pressed into your hand didn't say much. A phone number. An address for a lot behind a muffler shop where a seized-up 250 sat under a tarp with a milk crate of its own guts in the tank bag and a never-scratched lottery ticket taped inside the seat pan for luck. It hadn't worked. $700. Everything you'd saved bagging groceries, gone in one afternoon to buy a motorcycle that did not run. You're 16 now. You spend the next 3 months on a garage floor learning what a clutch actually is. Nobody tells you this part. You thought riding was the throttle. Riding is the floor. It's a fouled plug you clean with a lighter in the hem of your shirt. It's soaking a stuck piston in ATF for a week and praying. It's your knuckles opening on the same sharp edge of the same bracket until you know that edge by feel. Then, one Sunday, it lights. And you drop it in the driveway at 2 miles an hour in front of your mother. The replacement lever snaps off on the concrete, and you stand there holding 2 broken levers now, one in each hand. And the whole town has quietly decided that a kid who can fix a bike and a kid who can ride one are the same kid. They are not the same kid. You stall it 11 times at the stop sign at the end of your street. You flood it. You foul the plug you just cleaned. You clean it again. And then, on the 12th try, you let the clutch out slow and even, and the thing rolls, and something happens that nobody taught you. A truck is parked half into the road with a mailbox on the other side, and before your brain does the math, your body has already picked the gap between them, not where the road is, where it's about to open and you're through it clean. Heart going like a hammer. You didn't decide that. It decided you. You don't have a word for it yet. That week a photo goes around school. Marcus at a dealership, one boot up on a Finance 600, grinning like he built it. He's already calling himself a rider. Already got a jacket with his name on the back. Already 2 lines above you on a list you didn't know anybody was keeping. He was always better at looking like the thing than being it. You don't say anything. You go home and torque your chain to spec by feel because you can't afford the tool. Rooster comes by the muffler lot the day you finally idle out onto real pavement without stalling. He watches you go down to the light and come back. He doesn't say good. Now you can ride, he says. So take the street. If they don't offer it, take it anyway. He wipes his hands on a rag that's dirtier than they are. Just know the road keeps a tab. Doesn't matter how good you get, it always collects. You ask him what that means. He's already walking to his truck. That night you tape the first broken lever, the one from the school lot, the one Marcus made into the bottom of your tank bag next to a spare plug and a rag stiff with old oil. You tell yourself it's for luck. It is not for luck. You don't have that word yet either. You just know that wherever the bike goes now, it goes with you. And the street is waiting. Level 3 street rider. It's 1 a.m. on an industrial loop behind the freight yards, and a dozen older riders are sweeping the on-ramps for any new kid dumb enough to grab a fistful and high side into a light pole. You are exactly dumb enough. You just haven't done it yet. Here's the part nobody who isn't in it will believe. The first month, you don't wear gloves. It's just to the gas station, you tell yourself, and then you're doing 40 in a t-shirt because 40 feels like nothing until it isn't. You've got gravel rash healing on your right palm you hide from your mom under a wristband. You checked your chicken strips in a parking lot last week, and a guy pointed at the untouched inch of tire on your rear and laughed, and it stung worse than the road did. Then it stops being funny. You roll on hard coming out of a corner you don't respect yet, the rear steps out. The throttle is not a switch, and you learn that in a quarter of a second the bike snaps sideways, tries to buck you over the high side, and you get it back with a fistful of luck and a leg out you didn't plan. You pull over and shake for a full minute in the dark, and then you go do it again. Because the next corner is a decreasing radius, tightening on itself the deeper you go, and everybody ahead of you panics and grabs brake mid-turn and runs wide toward the shoulder. You don't. You hold your line, roll on smooth, and come out the far side ahead of 3 guys who've been riding twice as long as you've been alive. The read. Again, nobody taught it to you. You spent 14 years being the kid nobody looked at twice, and now the street hands out respect for exactly that. You clock Marcus at the next gas station meetup. He's running a crew now, matching jackets, cameras on the tanks, a name they spray on their fender eliminators. He pulls a wheelie down Main under a streetlight and half the lot cheers, and by morning it's got 10,000 plays and your best line of the whole night has 0 because you were busy riding and he was busy filming. He was always going to be better at that. Your name sits 2 lines under his on the scene's little unofficial ladder. The ladder is real. The ladder is keeping score. An older rider's son, bleached jacket, quiet. Been at this since before you were born, pulls up next to you at the light and points his chin at the guardrail on the canyon on-ramp. Zip-tied to it is a white cross, faded plastic flowers, a helmet visor screwed to the post. "That's the last kid who rode like you," he says. They still tell his story. You should feel the cold of that. You feel the wrong thing instead. You want the story. You want it so bad your hands ache on the grips. The broken lever's out of the tank bag now. It rides zip-tied inside your jacket, flat against your chest, where the road can't buck it loose no matter how sideways it gets. You're about to pull away when a canyon regular rolls up on your right, taps your mirror with 2 fingers, and gives you a single word: Sunday. Then he's gone up the on-ramp, past the cross, into the dark. An invitation and a dare, and you already know you're going. Level 4, local racer. Sunday is 9 hairpins of the rim of the world highway, 2 lane above Silverwood Lake. A scoreboard that's just guys with their phones out running stopwatch. And a canyon king who's been fastest up this road for 6 years and is looking at you like lunch. The corners aren't what almost kill you. The setup is. Your front pushes wide every time you lean it because you jetted the carbs for sea level and you're up at 4,000 feet. Your tire pressures are cold morning guesses. Your sag was set for a lighter you. And the numbers all show up at once, at speed, on a road with a guardrail and a 200-foot drop behind it. The same drowning feeling as the driveway, except now the price of getting it wrong is your collarbone. First run, you go in too hot and run wide to the paint. Second run, you break too deep, the front tucks, and you save it with a knee you didn't mean to put down, sparks off your slider, heart in your mouth. Third run, you're worse. Then Rooster's truck is at the pullout. You didn't call him. He never says how he knows. He takes the phone out of your hand mid-timer and drops it in his pocket. "Stop counting corners," he says. "The road's been telling you the line since you rolled up. You just keep arguing with it." He nods down the mountain. "Your body knew this at 14, behind the Kmart. Get out of its way." Next run, you stop computing. You stop bracing for the tuck. You let your eyes go long and read where the road is about to open instead of where it is. And your knee finds the pavement in a corner you had no business carrying that speed into. Smooth, no drama, no save. Fastest time on the mountain, by half a second. And the Canyon King who's owned this road for 6 years just looks at his phone, then at you, and says nothing. Somebody was running the timing at the pullout. Somebody who called every split without looking up from a pink Casio she won in a claw machine. Her name is Cass. She rides her own bike better than half the crew, has a scar on her chin from a lesson she learned once, and when you peel your helmet off, sweat blind and shaking, she looks at your torn glove and your bleeding knuckles and your 10-year-old bike, and she doesn't wince. She looks at you like the rider, not the kid who got his bike kicked over, like the rider. First time in your life anybody's picked you first. 2 weekends later, Marcus runs the same mountain, posts a time 2/10 faster, and captions it like an Oscar speech. He finds you at the gas station after, leans on your bike, eyes your bald front tire. "Cute lap time," he says. "Shame about the museum piece under you. Your name sits 1 line under his again." He was always going to be better with the caption. You don't care as much as you should. That's the problem. You're already looking at Cass across the pullout. That's when the flyer goes around. Not a canyon meetup, an organized thing. A closed lot, real crews from 3 counties, pride and a little money on the line. Marcus's crew is on the flyer. The Canyon King's on the flyer. You look at Cass. She's already grinning. "You're going," she says. Not a question. You've got a bike that runs when you baby it, a broken lever taped to your chest, and no idea that the best night of your life and the beginning of the worst year of it are the same night on that flyer. You pin it to your garage wall. Level 5 crew leader. You show up to the meet with 3 riders behind you, and by the end of the night you find out that's what a crew is. You didn't ask for it. They just started following your line through traffic because it was always the clean one, and somewhere in there it became yours to lead. Marcus is there. His crew's got matching jackets and a real sponsor sticker across the fairing. Yours has zip ties, a shared toolbox, and a reputation that got up the mountain before you did. The beef isn't about you two anymore. It's territory. 2 crews, 1 canyon, and there isn't room. So Marcus names the game in front of everyone, loud. A roll race, 60 to whatever you've got left, down the dead straight service road out by the old Norton airfield at 1 in the morning. Pride on the line and the whole scene watching from tailgates. The catch is your bike drops a cylinder the night before. Fouled plug, a lean bog right off idle, and you don't have money for a shop or time to wait. So you and Cass do it in a gas station lot under a phone flashlight. Pull the plug, read it. It's dry and white. You're running lean and you rejet it by hand, 1 size up on the mains, and sync the carbs by ear, blipping the throttle and listening for the stumble to go away. At 3 in the morning, it finally idles clean. Both of you covered in gas and grinning. She wipes her hands on your shirt, not hers, says the plug was your fault, and she's right. Closest you've ever been to anybody. A gas station lot, a bike that runs, and a girl who reads a fouled plug faster than you do. That's the whole thing, if you're honest. Every trophy you ever get, you had to fix first. 1 a.m., Airport Road, 2 headlights, a countdown from a guy in a grease-black Waffle House visor. You touch the broken lever through your jacket flat against your chest, the way you always do at a start line. You go in second off the roll, tucked flat, his taillight filling your whole world. He's got the faster bike. He should have this. Then, at the top of third, he checks his mirror. Half a second. That's all. But in that half a second, his line drifts a foot wide. And you take the gap he's about to leave, not where his bike is, where it's about to be, and you're alongside. Then ahead. Then gone. And you cross the paint by a wheel with the whole scene screaming off the tailgates behind you. Cass is on the back of your bike before you've even rolled to a stop. The kid who kicked your bike over just got beaten in front of everyone he was performing for. And for 1 clean second, that's the best thing that has ever happened to you. Marcus walks over, and here's the part that should have warned you. He doesn't sneer. He shakes your hand warm, both hands, claps your shoulder like a brother. Enjoy it while it's yours, he says, smiling. You think he means the win. You don't clock that he's already looking at Cass when he says it. A man you don't know has been watching from the fence line. Older, clipboard, real teams behind him. He waits till the crowd thins and presses a card into your hand, a name, a number, a track 2 states over. A shot at doing this for actual money instead of pride in gas station plugs. You look at the card. You look at Cass, laughing, still in your jacket. You look at your crew. You don't call the number. You've got the win, the girl, the crew, and a door out in your pocket too high tonight to notice the street just started charging you for all of it. You zip the card into the tank bag and forget it's there. You'll call it later, you tell yourself. Later is where it all goes wrong. Level 6, street legend. You don't call the number. Pride keeps you on the street 1 more season. Because a card in a tank bag feels like quitting, and a canyon full of people chanting your handle feels like winning. And at 21, you cannot yet tell those 2 things apart. The roll race grows in the telling. By the 3rd week, it's a full bike length. By the 5th, Marcus never checked his mirror at all. You just outran a faster machine on nerve. And you lie in bed and listen to yourself becoming a legend, and some cold part of you already knows a legend is just the shape a rider leaves behind after the rider's used up. A younger kid films you splitting rush hour traffic on the interstate, mirror tucking between semis at 80, and it hits 100,000 views in a weekend. Strangers know your name now. Kids DM you asking what tire pressure you run like it's a secret. You show Rooster the video, proud. He watches it once, hands your phone back, and doesn't smile. They're already filming the crash, he says. They just don't know that's what it is yet. You start missing rides. You picked up doubles at the parts counter because you want to buy Cass a ring you can't afford $340 on layaway at a kiosk in the mall, and the irony is you're never home to give it to her because you're working to pay for it. She starts riding without you. You tell yourself that's fine. She's a rider. Riders ride. Then the photo goes up. Cass on the back of Marcus's bike. his hand flat on her thigh where yours used to be. Not hidden, tagged, public. The whole scene sees it the same minute you do. You call her. She doesn't dodge it. "You love that bike more than you've ever looked at me," she says, tired, not even angry. "Marcus is a jerk, but at least he looks up." And she's not wrong, and that's the part that guts you. Marcus didn't steal her. You left the door open every night, working a counter, chasing a wheel, and he just walked through it warm and smiling, the way he told you he would. Enjoy it while it's yours. You don't fix a bike that night. There's nothing on it to fix. The tank's full, the plug's clean, and there's nothing left to take apart with your hands, which is the one thing you've ever known how to do when something hurts. So you do the stupidest thing of your life instead. There's a closed strip out past the county line, straight, dark, no gear, 3 a.m, a kid with a phone at the far end. And you pin it. 5th, 6th, the front going light, the whole bike walking on its suspension at $140. And you clip a pass at top speed between a stalled car and the barrier that should have killed you and didn't. The clip does 200,000 overnight. The scene worships it. They put your handle on it in block letters like a headline. Rooster doesn't call after that one. You call him twice. He lets it ring. You sit in your dark garage with the broken lever in your fist. You took it off your chest and it doesn't help anymore. It's just a busted piece of a bike a boy used to own, and you finally understand that the street will only ever pay you in stories. And stories don't sit with you at 3 a.m. Stories don't stay. You lock the lever in a drawer. You're going to become a man who doesn't need it. You dig the promoter's card out of the tank bag, and it's soft from a season of being carried, and you call the number. When can you be at the track? Level 7? Elite biker? The first time you roll into the paddock at Willow Springs, California, the street god dies in the parking lot? Guys half your age with data loggers plugged into their tanks. Tire warmers glowing on stands like little ovens. Lap times that make your whole canyon reputation worth exactly nothing, because up here there's no traffic to look brave in, no crowd on a tailgate, just a clock that does not care who you are, and a corner that comes the same way every single lap until you're fast or you're gone. And nobody warns you about the other 90%. The riding is 20 minutes at a time. The rest is a folding chair and a laptop and a sponsor who wants a post by Friday. It's tire budgets that eat a paycheck a weekend. It's a van with 240,000 miles and a mirror hose clamped back on, breaking down more than the bike. It's corner working somebody else's session in the heat, watching other men ride. You would have killed for this at 16. Now it's a line item. Then you meet her over a suspension problem. Mia runs the shock program for a satellite team. Ex-racer retired after a big one, reads a chassis by feel the way you read a road. She dials your bike in over a laptop at midnight in an empty paddock. And somewhere between the compression clicks and the ride height shim, she looks up and sees the man instead of the rider. You marry her that off-season with a ring you finally actually bought. You've got a kid on your crew now too. Diego, 19, the read in him, the real thing, the same wide-open hunger you had behind the Kmart. You see yourself every time he pulls his helmet off. He chases your wheel every session and asks 100 questions in the pits, and you tell him the same thing Rooster told you. Stop counting corners. The road already knows the line. There's a corner in the back section that's been coming up wrong all weekend. A bump on the exit that unloads the front right where you'd want to get on the gas. You clock it in the morning warm-up. You mean to say something. You don't. You're tired. It's his session, and you let it ride. He high-sides on the exit of it that afternoon, over the bars, into the wall, and he does not get up. You write his number on the inside of your leathers in paint marker, because that's the only place a rider keeps what matters. A week later, there's another rookie shaking in the pits after his first close call, green, about to quit. And you crouch down and talk him off the ledge, the same slow way Rooster once pulled the timer out of your hand up on the mountain. The road's telling you the line. Get out of its way. And in the middle of saying it, you realize you've become the man in the truck, the one who watches, the one who knows. Rooster's gone by now. Old riders just stop showing up at the track one season, no goodbye. No number that works anymore. A name younger guys don't recognize, but his line lives in your skull, and it started finishing itself. The wall, the reed, the ground. The numbness moves in so quietly you don't feel it arrive. You win your first real purse the same month. A clean race, your read, your hours, everything the 14-year-old behind the Kmart ever wanted, cashed in one flawless afternoon. And you feel nothing. You're standing on the box thinking about whether the paddock canteen still has the good coffee. That's the cost nobody quotes you up front. You get everything the kid wanted. and you go dead the same year, and it's so quiet you don't even notice it move in. That night you unlock the drawer and put the broken lever back inside your leathers, against your chest. The marriage couldn't keep you still. The broken thing always could. Level 8, biker icon. You're the name now. Kids in bar parking lots tell the story of the Canyon King who went pro like it happened to somebody holy and half dead. There's a house outside Charlotte, North Carolina, with your bikes in the garage that you've slept in maybe 40 nights all year, and a wife who stopped asking when you'll be home and started asking which week you'll be in the country to sign things. You run a race weekend so clean, it should be a training video. Your read, your hours, your whole life paying off in one flawless afternoon. The exact ride that would have made the kid behind the Kmart weep into his rental gear. You feel nothing. It's a Tuesday. You're thinking about the flight. Then you fly home for the 8th birthday of the son you and Mia had somewhere in the good years, and for one afternoon you put the bike all the way down. You sit on the floor next to a half-built model kit, a garbage truck. The one thing in the store he wanted more than any motorcycle, and you tell him the whole thing. The rusted $300 hand-me-down. The $9 an hour bagging groceries. A kid named Marcus who kicked your bike over in front of everyone and handed you the broken piece like a tip. And the busted lever you've carried for 30 years. Because that curb is the day you decided what you were going to be. He holds it like it's made of glass. He asks you to stay the whole summer. He's got a list of things he wants to show you, and the list breaks your heart because it's so small. A tree, a trick on his bicycle, a dog 2 houses down named Diesel. The next race is already signed, folded in the go bag by the door. You can't tell him that. Because here's the one you didn't see coming, except you did. You always did. A Legends Invitational, a closed mountain circuit, live crowd, the biggest road of your life. And the headline draw, the name they put on the poster next to yours, is Marcus. You both read the entry list. You both know exactly what it is. You both sign anyway, because 30 years was only ever heading to one road. And you're both too far in to pretend you didn't always know that. Last call home, the night before you fly out. Mia doesn't yell. The yelling stopped years ago. The yelling was back when she still thought you might answer. Come home or don't, she says. Just stop pretending you live here. You hang up. You find yourself picking a line down the empty street outside the window out of pure habit, apex at the 3rd driveway, late and tight, because your hands need somewhere to put what your chest can't hold. Then you pack the go bag, and for the first time in 30 years, the broken lever isn't in it. It's in a small hand a continent away. You'd gone back into your son's room at midnight to take it. You stood over the bed with your thumb where it should go, the way you've reached for it 10,000 times, and you closed his fingers around it instead. Because you can hand him the thing. You cannot hand him the man. You leave it there. You don't go back for it. You get on the plane empty-chested for the first time in your life, toward a road with your name on the poster, and the one man who's been trying to beat you since you were 14 waiting at the far end of it. Level 9, Fallen Legend. The Invitational is a closed road race on the rim of the world highway above Silverwood Lake, the same 9 hairpins that made you the road the riders always called a Widowmaker. Except now the barriers are up. A live crowd is packed behind them, and Marcus is 2 spots up on the grid, helmet already on, not looking back at you. It was always going to end here. You've been awake since 4. You've walked every corner on foot in the dark. And the fear you've carried your whole life is just gone, in a way that isn't peace. Just you and the wind coming off the rocks and a calm so complete it should scare you more than it does. Green flag. You and Marcus break away from the whole field inside 2 laps, trading paint. Through the 9 corners. Close enough to read the scuffs on each other's leathers. 30 years compressed into 6 minutes of sound and lean and throttle. Last lap. Last corner. He's ahead by a wheel and it's his. Then he checks his position. One glance over his shoulder to see where you are. Half a second. His line drifts a foot wide. And you take the gap he's about to leave, not where his bike is. Where it's about to be because you have never once ridden where a rider is. You come out of the corner alongside, then ahead, and the kid who got his bike kicked over leaves Marcus behind for good, on the mountain that made him, with everyone watching. For half a heartbeat, all you feel is the wind settling into your chest. Then the road doesn't open the way it always has. A cold patch in the shade of the ridge, right under a billboard for a mattress outlet. A slick you read a fraction of a second too late, and the front tucks at the exact peak of everything you ever wanted. It is nothing like the movies. It feels like the whole planet swinging a door into your ribs, something enormous and bored. You go down alone at the top of the world. The crowd's roar reaches you a full second behind the crash, cheering a pass they haven't understood yet. You slide a long way. When you stop, you read the damage. Wrong angle on the leg. A wet heat spreading under the leathers that pressure won't hold. No line left to take. No corner worker who knows your name is coming. You spent 30 years being the man nobody could catch, and the bill comes due all at once, in the gravel, alone. Your hand goes to your chest, out of 30 years of habit. For the broken lever. It isn't there. And the relief is so big it almost drowns the pain, because the lever is a continent away, closed inside a small hand in a dark bedroom. You spent 30 years carrying a broken thing to keep yourself alive. You finally left it somewhere it could keep somebody else. What's left is paperwork. A name spray painted on the concrete wall at the top of the pass, fresh over a dozen faded ones. Your number plate pried off the wreck and handed to a woman who stopped being your wife 2 years ago, and she takes it anyway. A boy in North Carolina with a broken clutch lever and half a story about a man named Marcus, and nobody left alive to tell him the rest. Years later, a different lot, a different state. A 14-year-old drops a rusted $300 hand down at 2 miles an hour, and the clutch lever snaps off on the curb, and he picks up the broken piece and puts it in his pocket. Doesn't ask himself why. An old man in a sun-faded, oil-stained jacket watches from a parked truck, not the throttle, the reed. He reaches into his coat for a card, and it starts again. If you like this story, subscribe for more.